and welcome back to Vlogmas Day 3. Now, as I'm sure you can tell by the title, we're doing something a little bit different in this video. And I'm sure you can see that I've got a little friend who's going to come and help me. So, this is my elf on the shelf. Now, a few years ago, my class named this elf Happy Hazel. So I thought, because it is December, we could talk about 30 different elf on the shelf ideas that you can use. Now, some of these are at home, some of these can be used in the classroom, and some of these can be done in both places. I'm going to put Hazel back on my shelf for a moment. So the first idea is that you could leave a letter from Santa with your elf. Now, as I said, my elf was named a few years ago by my very first class, and they decided to call him Happy Hazel. But you can either decide to give your elf a name, or your children could give your elf a name. I think it's quite nice for the children to be able to decide the name, because then it gives them ownership and it is their elf. Now, Happy Hazel will probably get renamed again at some point in the future when he joins my next class. Number 2 is to leave the toys everywhere. So I know that children make an awful mess at times, and sometimes they tidy up and sometimes they don't. So you could get your elf to leave a mess everywhere with a little note. The elf has made a mess everywhere, and the children will find it extremely funny. It will also teach them a very valuable lesson about tidying up. Number 3, make a toilet roll tower. Now, kids love toilet roll towers. I don't know what it is, they find it so funny. So if you make a toilet roll tower and maybe get a little bit and just wrap it around your elf, you can then have a really funny toilet roll tower, and then you can either leave it like that or you can put it back to normal. But it's just a funny little idea for something the kids could do. Number 4 is probably done better right near Christmas. You could have your elf hide amongst the presents. Now, elves are known for being quite cheeky, so your elf might want to get a little sneak peek at the Christmas presents, or just want to sit with the Christmas presents under the tree because it's nice and sparkly. Number 5, you could have your elf climb in fairy lights. Now, this could be inside the house or outside the house. Number 5, so you could have your elf climb in tinsel. Maybe you could have a little bit of tinsel wrapped around your elf. And I know that that goes down quite well because I did it. I had my elf wrapped in tinsel hanging from our canopy in the book corner, and the kids absolutely loved that. Number 7, you could create a snow angel from the flowers. You could have flour on the table or on the desk or wherever you are, obviously allergies permitting. And you could have your elf looking like they are doing a snow angel in the flower as if it was snow. Now, I can't do that with this specific elf currently because it would just get him all dirty and it would take quite a long time to wash him and get him dry, but you could do that if you would like to. Number 8, find special treats. So you might have a special box of Christmas treats, you might have some chocolates or a selection box, and your elf could be sitting with it, or it could find it. It could have it in their room, it could be in the front room, it could be in the kitchen, wherever you want. Your elf could find a box of treats, and there might be a letter maybe from Santa, or it could be from you guys, or it could be from the elf. Honestly, just depends on what you would like to do. Number 9, along the same sort of lines, you could have your elf find the Christmas Eve boxes. Now, I know a lot of families do Christmas Eve boxes where they have maybe a set of pyjamas or a board game or one of their children's presents inside a box, and maybe they have a variety of different things. You could actually have your elf sitting on top of or next to or find those presents, which will be a really cute sort of different way to be able to present the children with their Christmas Eve boxes. Number 10, you can have your elf sleeping under the covers or using an item of clothing like a scarf or a top or a jumper as a duvet cover, and maybe something else wrapped up as a pillow so it looks like your elf is sleeping. Now, this could be done in their bedroom. You could put the elf under the duvet, or you could put your elf maybe on the sofa, or you could put your elf really anywhere you want to, but I've seen it done online under duvet covers and it actually looks quite sweet. So number 11 is to draw a picture of Santa stuck up the chimney, or maybe he could be on the roof of your house. So you could either do roof of your house maybe the day after, so that the elf can leave that as his parting gift. Like he's left a letter and he's drawn a picture of Santa on your roof. Number 12, and I've seen this one done really well, your elf can take selfies and then stick them up all over the house or all over your classroom. So you could have him taking selfies in different rooms of the house, maybe in your garden. Let's say that you go out to do your local shop, you could take a picture of him just like on your shopping trolley or in your basket. Obviously wash him as soon as you get home if you do put him in anything, because germs and all. And yeah, so you can just stick them around the house. I've seen this before and I've seen it go down really, really well. Kids love it. So yeah, I think that's quite a nice one to do. 13 is that your elf could make a tent out of your clothing. So to create a tent, you could use pegs, or it might be that your elf uses a duvet cover or a pillowcase and your elf underneath it, like your elf has made a tent. That might be quite a little cute one that you could do. Quite simple, quite easy things you can do at home. 14 is that your elf could have written a Christmas list to Santa, and that could be really funny. So he could have really funny items like he wants a banana and he wants a rubber ring, or like silly items, or you could have it as he actually has asked for like proper gifts, which could be quite funny as well. Number 15 could be that your elf has made hot chocolate for your children. So you could have your elf sitting between the two mugs. Maybe his hands could just be in the little the handles on the mugs, and there could be like whipped cream. So you could either have already done all of it, so they've got whipped cream and marshmallows on, or you could have things like whipped cream and sprinkles and marshmallows and different toppings that maybe then your children could go and decorate the hot chocolate with, which might be quite nice. And then you could watch like a movie or snuggle up and watch something on Disney Plus or Netflix, or just a movie that you've got maybe on DVD or that's on the movie channels. 16, you could also have, it could kind of relate to that one, that the elf has left recipes for Christmas snacks, Christmas desserts, Christmas treats that you could then make as a family, because we don't really know what's going to be happening with this lockdown. Maybe by now we do know, but we don't really know exactly what's happening, so that might be quite a nice idea, and it gives you things to do as a family. It doesn't have to necessarily be on that day. You could do it the next day or over a couple of days, depending on how many recipes you've got. I'm going to leave some of my favourite recipes to make over Christmas in the description box below, and there's going to be a few cooking videos coming up soon, so you could also maybe use them. Also, I've done a few cooking videos that you could do, like cakes, cookies, shortbread. There's a variety of other things I just can't remember, so you could go have a look at those as well. Number 17 is that you could get your elf to draw minion faces on bananas and leave them for the children in the morning. So if they're still going to school, you could have like minion faces on their bananas for when they go to school, or you could show them before they go or when they come home. I mean, I've seen it done before as well, and I just thought it was so adorable and so funny. So number 17 is one I've not personally done, mainly because if I do it I think I'm going to ruin my elf, but I know that if you've got a plastic one it works really well, from what I've heard anyway. So if you've got a plastic elf on the shelf, well I suppose you could do it with this one, but I'm just not going to because I don't want to ruin Hazel. So you can put your elf in the freezer, get a I think how people do it is that they get like a container, they fill it, they put their elf in it and they fill it with water, and then they put it in the freezer, and then what they do is they carefully take the container off of the frozen elf, and he's in a bit of a cube. They get an Elsa doll, position her like this, and then leave the frozen elf with Elsa, so they're standing sort of opposite each other like this. If I can find a picture of it on the internet, then I'll put one in and credit it all below. So it looks like Elsa has frozen your elf. I think it looks so funny and it's such a good idea. I just haven't done it with my elf because my elf isn't plastic and I'm a bit worried about him getting ruined. Number 19 is that you can get mini marshmallows, or I suppose normal sized marshmallows, and another teddy or another toy, and you could make it look like your elf and your teddies are having a snowball fight, which is quite funny as well. I've seen pictures of this one, and I did something similar. I don't think I did it with marshmallows. I think I did it with cotton buds, and I had my elf and one of the teddies for my book corner, and they had cotton buds, and I taped one of the cotton buds into their hands so it looks like they were throwing a cotton bud or a snowball at the other toy, and it was just, I really like that one. I thought it was a really good one, and it's something you can do with things that you've already got. Number 20 also uses marshmallows or cotton buds, or I suppose you could do it with other things. You can make a igloo for your elf to sit in, so you could use cocktail sticks and create an igloo, or you could even print an igloo out and then like stick cotton buds on the paper and create an igloo for your elf to sit in. Number 21 is, now I said before that elves are a little bit cheeky. You could have your elf sneak in a biscuit or a chocolate or a sweet out of the tin. So you might have a biscuit box or a biscuit tin or a chocolate selection box or a sweet box, whatever it may be. You could have your elf putting his hand in, and maybe if you've got a plastic one you could actually put like a little bit of melted chocolate around his mouth so it looks like he's been eating the chocolate. I did that a very similar one like that with some of the Christmas party sweets that we had with my class, and they really thoroughly enjoyed that one. Number 22 is that you can have a naughty or nice meter. Now, I didn't personally do this one. I know there are lots on the internet that you can print and download, and I know there's some you can buy. You can get the elf to have brought a naughty or nice meter, and they have to tick off every day whether the children have been naughty or nice, or if it's got like an arrow that you can turn, you can point it to whether the children's being naughty or nice, and all of the intervals in between, so it gets them to see, and you can say, you know, Santa can see this. Santa sees our naughty and nice meter. And you could also say that your elf reports back to Santa, so Santa knows if you're being naughty or nice. I personally didn't use the naughty or nice meter. I know people who have, and they've said that it's been really, really effective, so yeah. Number 23 is you can have your elf colouring in the colouring book or printed out colouring pages, and you can either have it so your elf is coloured in really neatly or really scribbly, and then you could set it up as colouring in for your children, so your children can colour with the elf. It's quite a nice little activity for them to do at home, especially as we're not going to be able to do our normal Christmas activities this year. Number 24 is that if you've got blinds or a curtain, you could have your elf get stuck in the blinds or the curtain while he was trying to crawl up the window ledge or something. That might be quite a nice idea. Number 25 is that if you've got things like candy canes or matchsticks, as in the sweets matchsticks, not an actual matchstick, you can pretend to have your elf sledding or sliding down a banister or across tables or along your window ledges, wherever you want to have it. I mean, if you're in the classroom, you could have it as if it's going down your interactive whiteboard or your monitor, whatever you have, or in your book corner might be quite a nice idea if you've got a canopy attached so your elf is on your canopy, which is quite a nice idea as well. Number 26 is that you could have your elf sitting somewhere or standing, and your elf could have knocked over your pencil pot, your colouring pencils, the children's pencil pots. If you're in a classroom setting, you could have them knocking them over. Number 27, now I love doing this one. Every morning my elf had wrote on the interactive whiteboard, so I used my left hand to do this so that they didn't recognise my handwriting, and every day Hazel had left a note on the interactive whiteboard. So one of the first notes was from Santa, well yeah, from Santa, and then one of the next notes was about naming the elf, and then another one was like a puzzle that they could do on the board, so I found lots of different things. Now you might be at home and that might not be something you can do, but you could leave a handwritten letter, or you could do it on the internet and print it off as if it was the elf, so you could either you yourself or somebody else you know could write the letter and send it to you, and then you could have a letter every single day for your children to open if that is something that you would like to do with them. Number 28 is that the elf could find a tree, so they might have a little tree that you could have in the bedroom with things to decorate, or it might be a classroom tree. Now my classroom tree I had, I got the elf to find the tree, and then I got the children to create their own Christmas decorations. So rather than actually having decorations I pre-bought, I printed off lots of different little Christmassy colouring, so they were about this big, and you had like Christmas trees and candy canes and reindeers and Santas and snowmen and just a variety of different Christmas designs, and I print them down so they were only really small, and then every day in the morning for like a few days the children could colour in. They might have done more than one, or they might have spent the time colouring in and cutting out their decoration, and then each of their decorations I then laminated, put a hole in the top and hung on my Christmas tree so that they could all have their own decoration. At the end of the Christmas term, I allowed them to take all their decorations home, so they had a piece from our class Christmas tree, and they all absolutely loved doing that because it meant that there was a piece of like themselves on our class Christmas tree, and they just really enjoyed being able to come in and say, look, 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 that's my decoration, look, that's my decoration on our Christmas tree, and that everybody had one, and it made everybody feel really included. And honestly, that's one of my favourite things that I've done, and it will be something that I do when I have my next class, and it'll be something that I do when I have my own children, because I just think it's lovely for them to have their own personal touches on their Christmas trees. Number 29 is something I did as well. So there was Elf on the Shelf stickers, but you don't have to have Elf on the Shelf stickers. You can get stickers from Santa that your children can have, so you can either do it at the beginning and they can earn one each day depending on their behaviour, or if they do something fabulous, or if it's like me, I had them for our class Christmas party and I just gave them out at the end of the party, and every single child in the class got one because they just worked so hard that term, and I thought it was just a lovely thing to end our class party with. And our final one is that you could have your elf wrapping up other toys. So you could get, it could be in tinsel, it could be in wrapping paper, it could be in fairy lights, whatever you want. Your elf could then wrap up another toy. It's quite funny when it's in wrapping paper, and then you could have actually your elf either still partway wrapping it, leave it with his hand, like, so he's got the tape on his hand so he's put it over, or you could have it so that he's just sitting there with wrapping paper on him and a tape in one hand with the elf with the toys wrapped, and you could do more than one toy. You could do other things that aren't toys. You could actually give them like a little present maybe in between, maybe like a little bit of chocolate, or like a colouring book or a story book, or like something just really small that you could do it on Christmas Eve, or you could do it on any day in December. You could even do it on Christmas Day, but usually elves leave on Christmas Day as far as I'm aware. But yeah, those are 30 ideas that you can do, some that you can do inside the classroom, some that you can do outside the classroom. If you've got any more ideas, then put them in the comments below so that we can all share in the ideas. It's lovely for us as a community to be able to collect them. And if you do any of these ideas and you put them on social media, I'd love it if you could tag me in them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to subscribe, please click here and turn that notification bell on so you are notified every single time I upload. If you would like to check out any more of my videos, please click here. I hope you are having the most wonderful Christmas time. Stay safe, and I shall see you soon. Bye!